What's up, everybody? I just uploaded a video, part 1 XRP and a little bit of Litecoin at the end. And if you want to go check that video out, it's just uploaded, so definitely check it out. So this video is going to be about altcoins. I'm going to look at Algo, I'm going to look at SUI, I'm going to look at HBAR, ICP, and Sologenic, Quorum, and there's a couple other ones as well that I'll have to check out. I'm going to look at Theta. I'm going to look at Theta Fuel. I'm going to look at Filecoin. And we'll see where it goes. All right. So XRP, I'm not going to look at it. We just did a whole video on it. So check it out. So the first one I'm going to do is ICP. So let's check out ICP. I'm not sure what's going on with their data. Let me do another chart just to be safe. We'll use Coinbase. Okay, same thing. Looks good. So ICP, it looks great. This thing looks like it's about to pop any minute. So it's not without its risk, right? So this is going to be a rapid fire video. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But essentially what we have here is a wave 1 and we have a wave 2. We have accumulation. And now we're going into the retracements. It's going to be a battle, but once we get through it, we should break out. All right, so that's basically the idea. Now, how does this play, right? How does this play out? If we look at the daily, we don't have any bearish divergence. It's looking great. If you look here, right, we have somewhat of a base. Could we come all the way back down and retest the base before going up? Yes. Is that what's going to happen? I don't know, right? I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, it would be an incredible buy the dip opportunity. All right. So what I'm looking for, right, as an investor, as a hodler, as, you know, even a swing trade, I'm looking for this to get through the retracement level. So it's all about, you know, having to deal with the volatility. You're going to get volatility in here. You can see we're sort of chopping in here. That's all we've had. Now, if you look at XRP compared to that, I mean, it's nothing, right? So you know we're early. We're still very early with all of these coins, right? So the goal here is to get through, you know, between 15 and say 20 bucks. You know, once we crack through 15 and 20, I mean, we're on our way very fast to, I believe, at least 30, and even beyond that, probably looking at maybe even 45 to 55, all the way up to potentially $70. Now, it could go even a lot higher than that. It depends how crazy this bull run's going to be. I think it's going to be pretty crazy, right? Because the altcoins, you know, they did okay last cycle, but I think this cycle they're really going to start to emerge, especially the good ones. I think internet computer is definitely a good one. So I'm looking at this coin very strongly, and even rotating some of my profits into ICP. So let's look at the small time frames real quick. Let's try to keep it. Let's try to go quick here. So here's what I see. So I do see a rejection wick here, right? So we got to be careful with that. But I also see it higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? So that's what we're getting. We're trending to the upside. The trend is your friend, okay? So if we look at the wave structure, I see a 1-2. I see another 1-2. I see this could be 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, all of that's 3, right? Then we maybe get 4, and then we go up and get 5. That's one way to look at it. Another way is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or better yet, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then go, right? So here's the thing. ICP, it's looking a little bit corrective on the way up. But that's how see, as you go into the retracement levels, you get a lot of shenanigans, you get a lot of trickery, you get a lot of fakeness, right? Because it's kind of like gives you certain impressions and then it does something else, you know what I mean? So the way I look at this is there's really two counts on the table. The first count being that this was a flat. It was a running flat and it's finished. And now we're kind of trickling up. We're kind of consolidating here, and then we're just going to break out. So that's idea number one. The other idea here is that this is a flat. So we have 3 down, right? There's 3, 3, and then maybe we get another 3, right? So a complex B wave here. Right? And then what do? We see the rejection wick, and then we come back down in 3. So basically, it could be a flat, right? So boom, 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 and then go. If we get that, and we take this liquidity out, that will be an amazing buying opportunity around that $11 mark if we hit it. So those are the two ideas. Either we're going to creep out, or we're going to basically, that's what I'm seeing here. All right. So, all right, let's look at SHIB. So SHIB, it's a little bit challenging. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Let's go to the weekly first. All right. So on the weekly chart, it's very bullish. The reason why is because you have a rise, you have a crash, you have a retrace, and you got a little bit of reaccumulation, but you had a lot of accumulation down here, right? So looks like a 1 2 1 2, and then we have another 1 2. This thing could be going up into its third wave, and then 4, and then 5. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on the larger time frames. But the thing is, we need to get through these retracement levels. So when we look at this, it could be very bearish coming up soon on a lot of these charts. Why? Because they're in their retracement levels, right? So they have to get through them. And when they hit these retracement levels, you get a lot of volatility oftentimes. So if we put the Fibonacci extension here, let me make sure this is on linear. Okay, so we're right at the 618. So we need to get through 786. We need to get through this level, right? And then once we get through that, it's very easy to then just continue much, much higher, right? But it's going to be a battle, right? It's not going to be easy. It's going to take its time. So, for example, this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially 5. It looks like we have a diag. So if it's a diagonal, then what do we expect? We could get some type of ABC correction that takes us back down to the preliminary support, and then we go up. So if we get something like that, we have a wave 1, now we're flagging out for a wave 2, that would be an incredible buying opportunity. So that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is we just keep going up and resetting, going up, resetting, right? For example, we do have bearish divergence on the daily. So just keep that in mind. So one of the things, obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we have right here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could be finished. We could be finished, and we could be correcting for a little while, or at least consolidating. So I already told that idea, but the other idea, let me zoom in even further. Okay, we can see we have 3 down, we have 3 up, we have 3 back down. That is a finished correction. And then this is a 1, 2. This looks like 3 or even another 1, 2. So we can either get some type of ABC, and then continue higher. That's what we want to do. So how do we know which count it's going to be? First of all, the other idea here, right, is just like what I said before. Instead of this coming back down, we're basically come up, reset, come up, reset, come up, reset, come up, reset, and then kind of trickle up, and then eventually just break out. You know what I mean? It kind of just warps in here, and then it just goes, right? So those are the two ideas. Now, how do we know which one's going to be? Well, we have to see what happens in the small time frames. I like the base. We have a beautiful base. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, got some sideways. We break out. Now it looks like we're coming back down to back test. So let's see what happens here. If we come back below this line, then it could be a bigger flat. For example, we have 3 down, we have 3 up, and then we can get maybe 3 back down or even 5 back down, an expanded flat, a big A, B, C, and then go, right? So how do we know which one's it going to be? We have to watch the support. If we hold the support, then we have to look at the retracements here as we go up through the retracements, right? So far, it's holding support. It looks great. Nothing to worry about right now. It looks totally fine. So for me, I mean, if you're hodling, I would just hodl. There's no reason, not financial advice, but for me, there's no reason to sell it at all. Like, this is the area where we should be, accumulating in some regard. So let's see if we get some kind of a 3-wave move and then a continuation here. So if we zoom in even further, yeah, we came down pretty nicely. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So I want to see it come up here in a retrace, or hit the low and then come up and get a retrace, and then we reevaluate from there. So there we go. There's SHIB. Well, how high can SHIB go? Well, I'm looking at 1,000 SHIB. I'm going to look at this one here, because this is what most people are using. Let's go to the 2-week chart. Okay. And then let's take a Fibonacci extension, and we'll put it down here. Now, the bare minimum I'm looking for SHIB is right around 0.00013. Okay? And right now, we're at 4 zeros, 2.9. So that's why I look at the 1,000 SHIB, because it's easier, so I don't have to deal with all these decimal points. But yeah, 13,689. So right there's the target. That's target 1, right? If we can get through that, it's most likely going to go much higher than that. That would be just the first conservative target. It's most likely going up here, which is 34,938, which is, from where we are right now, that's a percentage increase of about, 1,000%, 1,100%. So not bad at all, right? And again, it could go significantly higher than that, right? I mean, we just don't know until we have the wave structure. We can see this thing all the way at 47,321, right? And then you're getting into these even bigger numbers, right? So for Dogecoin hit the 2.2721 log scale on its bull run. So SHIB never really had a bull run. It just had one bull run. So we could actually go way up here for SHIB. I think it'll be pretty dramatic. It'd be a very big market cap, but it's possible. We're not going to know until we break out and until we see the wave structure. One coin I want to pull your attention to is Monero. Okay, when you look at Monero, right, and let me show you in comparison to, for example, like Litecoin and XRP. right? If you, let me put on another XRP chart. Let's see here. Bear with me. So here's Monero and here's XRP. So what do you see, guys? What do you see? I see the same structure, essentially the same structure. Look at this. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. We went sideways and then bam, we got the breakout. Well, look at Monero. Same thing. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. Look at this. We're going sideways, but we haven't broken out yet. I am buying Monero. I am buying Monero. Why? I could be a dud. It could go down. It's not financial advice. It could crash. We could just burn up and go to zero. But I'm looking at the structure, and this is a massive structure, right? Look at that reaccumulation structure, right? We had a very powerful wave one, three-way pullback, and accumulation. Big wave one, three-way pullback, accumulation. Okay, so same thing with Litecoin. Now, people don't care about Monero, people don't care about Litecoin, but I'm telling you, it's probably going to surprise a lot of people. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm looking at Monero. I think we got a breakout coming soon. Now, if we look at, for example, Litecoin, look at Litecoin, guys. Litecoin's the same thing. Look at this. We got the accumulation structure, but look at Litecoin. It's starting to break out right now. Starting to break out. So what do you think Monero's going to do? If we get this bull run started, Monero's going to break out as well. So I think Monero is definitely one to, not a big position, but, it deserves a little bit. Let's just say that. Just look at the structure. I mean, it looks great. So, and you can see this thing starting to pump up here. So it looks like to me we got 3 up, we got 3 down, and now this looks like a 1-2. This looks like another 1-2, and it looks like we're flagging out A, B, C, and now it looks like we're starting to break out. Dude, this thing is getting ready, guys. I could be wrong, but I haven't been wrong, well, a few times, but I haven't been wrong the majority of the time. I mean, just look at it, make your own decision. All right, let's keep moving. Theta. Is there another Theta chart I can look at real quick? Let's look at this Theta chart. So Theta, there's really 2 things Theta could do. Number 1, W pattern. Or number 2, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, blast off. This is where Monero is. This is where Litecoin is. This is where XRP was. Right? So how do we know which ones are going to be? Well, we have to see what happens when we break out. When are we going to break out? I mean, let's take a look here. Let's go down to the daily. All right. So we pumped and we got all the way up to about 317, which is a good thing. Right? This hasn't even really started yet, guys. I know it's a little bit exciting, but trust me, it's going to get more exciting. If everything plays out the way we hope it does. So you have this area right there, right? Very strong area, resistance, right? And now we broke through it. So what makes sense to me is to come all the way back down and test 253 and back test it. Once we back test it, then we can continue higher. So that's what I would like to see. Now, are we going to go all the way back down to 253? Are we going to come close to it? I mean, it's kind of hard to say. Let's look at the small time frames and get an idea here. 30-minute chart. Well, it is flagging out. I don't like the wave structure. It's difficult to read, but I mean, you essentially have 3. This looks like 3. So maybe you get another 3 here. I mean, yeah, it looks like we're flagging out here. Ultimately, I want to see this thing break out. Ultimately, I think that's where we're going. for the price of Theta. So let's keep an eye on it. But that's about it for Theta. Nothing really, aside from what we've already talked about, right? We have this 1 2 1 2 1 2. We're kind of consolidating in here, and this is kind of where like ICP is. That's why I was kind of bullish on it here, right? And then we got the pop, and then once you get that first pop, then you kind of drizzle out, you retest, and then you keep it moving. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it, bullishly. Now, from a bearish perspective, if it wanted to be very bearish, then we would have to come all the way back down to about $1.65, $1.60. How do we know if that's going to happen? Well, we need to break this line first, right? But more than likely, it would be at 190. Okay, that's most likely where we would go. So, and if we break that, it would be over here. So here's the bearish idea. We have a rise crash. This is a retrace, and then we come all the way back down here into reaccumulation, and then we go. Yes, it would suck, but that's just what it is. So that's why I'm saying it's dangerous in here until we get through those retracement. Once we get through the retracement levels, we can finally breathe. But until then, it's like, man, it's like you're on pins and needles trying to figure out what this thing's gonna do. So there you go. Those are the two ideas. Let's see how it plays out. Matic is looking pretty good here. It was really depressing before, but essentially what we have is a three-way pullback, and now we're just charging up. So this thing can really start to surprise a lot of people. I wasn't lucky enough to jump on the Matic train, but I talked about it a lot, and I gave people the idea of what they should expect, and that's exactly what we're getting. We're getting this wave was finished, right? We had 1 2 3 4 5, and now we want to get a retrace, and then from there probably flag out. You have a shoulder, you have a head, get another shoulder, you break the neckline, you back test, you go to the moon. There you go. That's Matic. Now for Theta, I didn't talk about price targets because I've talked about them a lot. And essentially, the highest this thing can go would be about $131. So that's pretty insane if you want to know the truth. Now, Dogecoin hit the 2.272. That would be like Theta hitting 1,183. That would be absolutely biblical. Now, I don't believe that's going to happen. Not even close. I mean, maybe one day it will, but I don't know. It's just we have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm saying between $30 and $50 on the conservative to moderate, and then on the extreme end, you're looking at about $60 to $80. Or I think it was exactly $69. So just say $70 at the high end. The low end, 30 to 40. The mid range, 50 to 60. The high range, 70 to 80. And the extreme range would be 131. So there you go. All right, let's keep it moving here. Let's look at the request. So let's look at Algorand. Now, I never looked at the Algorand market cap, but it does look very interesting. You got a wave 1, you got a wave 2, and now you're about to go into wave 3. Let's look at the Algorand price. I think this should be fine. Okay, yeah, so it's got that H bar feel to it. Again, this is a 1, this is a 2. And now we're going up into a 3. We're most likely going to get back up to this area around 90 cents or $1 or so. and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then most likely 5. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Now, is it going to go straight up from here? There's really no entry here, so let's go to the daily. So the worst, I shouldn't say the worst, but an idea here would be to revisit the previous swing high, right? So here's your top, right? You break out, we could come all the way back down and flag out and back test 25, 30 cents before then breaking out. And that would actually be very healthy and probably even likely. You know what I mean? So same thing with XRP. We should see a wave 4 coming up soon, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, waiting for 4, and then we get 5. And the 5th wave is where the fun starts. So how high can algo go up? What's the target for algo? Well, again, let's look at it. I think this thing can go up to 25 bucks. 24 bucks. On the extreme end, right? $24. On the more conservative area, you're looking at between $4.50 and $11. That's about the same as Litecoin or XRP. But the difference is algo is only at 50 cents, right? And Gary Gensler even likes algo. I mean, he talked about it in his MIT classes, and he said it was good. So maybe that's a bad thing. No, I don't think so. I think it's great. I think algo will do very well. So anyways, that's algo. The small time frames, we're charging up pretty nicely. Ideas here. Come up, reset, we're reset, come up, reset, come up, reset. I mean, continue trending. Or, once this wave is finished, we want to flag out and then continue higher. Now, how do we know which ones are going to be? Well, we really don't. We have to look at the small time frames. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna have to count the waves, take some time and really methodically go through it. I don't really have time for that. I'm going to just rapid fire. So let's see. You got a little bit of bearish divergence coming up here. So just be careful. There's no entry for me. Would I buy it right this second? No. Why? Because I don't have an entry. Right? You see this here? If I had a 3-way pullback, right? Or even a running flat, right? So I don't have that here. I mean, you kind of got a little bit of a bottleneck in here. Boom, 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 before going higher. All right, let's look at H bar. I got to keep it moving fast. So that looks like a 9. Let's see if it's a 9. Nope, not quite. Probably on the. No, not even on the. Well, we're on an 8, so we're coming up on a 9 on the 6 hour. Okay, so let's zoom out. Let's go to the weekly and work our way through. So H bar again. I think this is going to be a home run for H bar. We got a wave 1, we got a wave 2, and now we're going up into a wave 3. That's basically what we got, right? And this to me looks like a 1, 2 or a 1, 2. This is an expanded flat. So 1, 2, and now we're going up into 3, 4, and then we go up and hit 5. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like to me. I would say also what would be even better is that this is a 1, 2, and we have another 1, 2. Very, very bullish. The most bullish thing you can do is a 1, 2, 1, 2. And now this is a wave 3. So we should get wave 4 coming up soon. Maybe we go up a little bit higher, then get wave 4. Either way, a wave 4 is coming. And then we go up and get wave 5, price discovery. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Small time frames, I'm not going to get into small time frames. Just don't have enough time. But essentially, the worst case, we could come back down and retest this swing high down here. That could always happen. So we just have to be aware of that. I mean, if we just look real quick. Come on. That would be about 16 cents. I mean, you already exploded up to 30 cents. But if it's like XRP and the momentum just takes over, you know, it's a tough one. When you're rampaging to the upside, you know, it's really tough to figure out exactly where it's going to go. Because the best way to do it is right here. Let me show you. So let me take a trend-based fib extension. And you could do this with the other coins as well. See, this was a scam wick here. I could start it here or even here. I'll just do it from the top. And then I'll come down here. So look at that. We met our target. That is a perfect, we nailed it. Perfect 1618 extension. And it actually went beyond that. So next target would be about 36 cents, between 33 and 36 cents, right? Or that's it. That's all we got here for this wave. Because this wave will finish and we will get a pullback and we will continue higher. The question is when? Well, we don't have evidence of that yet. We need to see evidence. For example, if you go here, right? Notice we're going up, 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 up. We don't know where it's going to stop. But then once you get to here, right, then you could kind of see this flat structure. And then look at this. Instead of having like an A, B, C, and continuing, you could see that's when we broke down. And then we came up into a retrace to the scene of the crime. And that's where you would get out if you were trading. Or you can scale out on these peaks here, especially when you have divergence like we did here. So anyway, that's H bar. All right, let's look up Sologenic. I haven't seen this chart in forever. I remember they had the airdrop for XRP holders, and I didn't. Whoa. And I didn't participate in that. Whoa. But I did participate in the Flare airdrop. So, look at that. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen this chart. So, the way I'm looking at this chart is it's still pretty brand new. You got accumulation in here. You got that first pop. You got a 1, 2, looks like a 3. Let's see a 4, and then a 5, and then a bigger correction at the 7, 8, 6, and then a breakout. That's how I would look at it. Because to me, you got a 1, you got a 2, and let's go up for a 3. Or we get into the retrace, we get rejected, we come back down into reaccumulation, then we get 3 later on. So that's kind of what I see for Sologenic. How high can Sologenic go? It's a tough one. There's not so much history, but if we had to look here, you're talking, I mean, you're at 57 cents. Why is that so much? $27. That just seems like a lot. Is this on log scale? I don't think it is. Wow. That's pretty massive. Interesting. Oh, okay, because the top here is $6. I wasn't looking at that. Okay, yeah, well, yeah, that makes sense. So $27 would be the very top of it. So a good target for me for Sologenic would be $10. I mean, dang, this could be a big one, guys. if it works out, 60 cents right here. I mean, XRP's been 60 cents. So imagine buying it 60 cents for XRP, and instead of it going to $10, you're looking at even higher than that. So I don't know the tokenomics of Sologenic or the inflation or anything like that, but this could be a big one here. So not financial advice, or it could be a complete dud. I mean, but based on the fib levels, it looks pretty good. The wave structure is okay, so we'll have to see. Okay, so here's Quorum. There's not a lot of wave structure here. So, I mean, the way I look at it is, obviously it starts at 0, right? And then it moves up, and then that's your opening price, and then you kind of flag out. So I'm looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some type of bull flag here, right? You got your pin bar, doji down here, and now you're exploding. So yeah, this thing can go pretty high. I mean, this wick, I don't give much thought to it. It's at $30, but I would be more conservative and say like 75 cents. That's where the closes are. We can check the daily. Yeah, same thing, 75 cents. So yeah, I'm just not sure about this one. I mean, ultimately, you got a downward resistance line, right? You got a downward, you're breaking out. And then you have a 1, 2. This is a 3. Maybe 3's not finished. Then you get a 4. Then you get a 5. So I think it's got more to go. And if we look closely, it's kind of bottlenecking in here a little bit. Very interesting wave structure. This was nice. You got a big pump, you got a 3-way pullback, you came up, and now you're kind of drizzling up. So either this is going to pop, or you're going to get a flat and then pop. I don't know what it's going to be. I really don't. So those are the two options. How would you play it? I'd probably just wait. I don't know. That's a tough one. But yeah, I think Quorum, it's new. I don't know. I mean, how good it's going to be, but it looks decent. It looks decent, especially because, I mean, really the only thing you have here is this downward resistance line, right? So yeah, let's see. Okay, the next one would be VRA. I got a few requests on this one. It's great. Look, you got a sideways base, accumulation, breakout. There's your wave 1. Right? You pull back, there's your wave 2. And then you have a wave 1, and then you have a wave 2. So 1, 2, A, B, C, right? And now here's a 1, here's a 2, and now it looks like we're going into a wave 3, 4, and then probably we'll get 5. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. That would be my main idea. The other alternative would be we get back up here and we kind of go into reaccumulation and then go. So, or this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. We could actually pull back over here and then go. How do you know which ones are going to be? Well, again, the small time frames will be the answer. So the 10-hour chart looks great. You're kind of, you shoot up and you're kind of channeling like this. Looks like it wants to break out. Or it could be a flat and then break out, but it looks more like it wants to break out. I've got a lot of interest in this one, so it might be a good one. It might be an explosive one. Maybe someone in the comment section can tell me more about it. Like, what is this thing? Why is it unique? Why is it special? How high can it go? You're looking at 13 cents on the low end, 35 cents on the high end. But that's really good. Something that's not even 1 penny, right? This thing's not even 1 penny, and you're talking some big money here if it plays out. I mean, people who got in even before that, I mean, you're looking at upwards of maybe 4,000%, or at least 1,500%. So yeah, I think definitely interesting here. You just got to be a little bit careful, you know, because it did go up quite a bit. So just, you know, use risk management, be careful. I like to buy things cheap, right? Look at the base. You see the base? And then once we break out, or even the flag here, that's a good buy. But now you're sitting up here. It's a little bit higher than I like. But if I get a three-way pullback, I mean, it'd be a good buy. So, okay, so Tia. Tia's looking good. You know, I mean, we're pulling back pretty nicely, but look, we're probably, you know, we built this base, we broke out. Let's get an ABC, let's flag out, let's back test, and then let's continue rampaging to the upside. That's how I look at Tia. AVAX. You know, you got this one, ABC, 1, 2. I mean, this thing looks like it wants to break out. I mean, you know, most of them do. Filecoin. Whoa, look at Filecoin. Filecoin is rampaging. We're getting close to these fib levels here. So we need to get through basically $10, and then we're on our way easily to $17. So Filecoin looks great. Just have to give it some time. On the small time frame, yeah, you're just charging up. You know, you kind of, you build this beautiful base, right? And then you have this flat, you come up here, another ABC, come up here, you know, you're just slowly, and then eventually you're going to go parabolic, and then that third wave will end, and then you get wave 4, and then we should break out. How high could it go? Oh man, it's let me just do this here. If I use this as a fib tool, you're probably better off looking at the market cap, because the market, you know, because it depends on inflation. Some of these coins won't hit their targets because of the inflation that they have. You know, maybe about 190. 190 would be a good target for Filecoin. And you're only at $7. But that's all contingent if we get through these retracement levels, which is still very high up there. So probably better looking at the small time frames. All right, let's look at CFX is looking good. Look at that. You got that beautiful flat. Check out Litecoin. Look at that three-way pullback I talked about in the last video. This thing looks great. ADA. Got to get through the retracement levels. XDC. Same thing, right? ADA, you got the W here in XDC. Yeah, it looks like it's on its way, guys. So be ready. Thing about bull runs is a lot of times bull runs don't give you any opportunity to get in. Really, you just have to, you know, take a little bit of a risk. Aave looking great. It's just slowly curling up, you know. I kind of got a little bit of a bad trade in here with Aave. So it kind of scared me away. If I would have just held it, I would have been okay. But I got stopped out, so whatever. Can't win them all. Solana looks kind of scary because you got this nasty looking candle here. But it is the 12-day chart, so... That looks a little better. Yeah, we're flagging out here. So I'd like to see like a 1 2 1 2 1, you know, maybe a 3 4 and a 5 coming up soon. Okay, Sui, that was the one I was looking for, and then Theta Fuel, and then we'll wrap it. So Sui got 1 2 3 4 5. I mean, I don't know. Sui can go way higher. It's just, I just don't really know, man. I just don't know about this one because all I can go by is fib levels, and right now we're sitting at the 2 and the 1618. So theoretically, we can go another 130%, but that's it. 130%, and you're already at the 4.236. So I don't know. I mean, it could go way, way beyond that. I'm just not a Sui guy. I just, you know, it could go way, 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 way higher, and I could feel like an idiot. But you know what? There's just not much there for me to latch onto. So, just sorry, I just don't know what to say. I mean, unless you've been holding it, if I was holding it from down here, I would be feeling like a rock star. And I would just continue holding it. You know what I mean? But for somebody like me who doesn't own it, I'm just like, nah, you know. But I do still see upside. You know, especially if this bull run expands. Look at this. You kind of got a little bit of a move here. So either you got some type of ABC, and then this is a 1, and that's a 2, and then let's go. Or you got 3, 3, 3, and then go. So those are the two options. The best way to get a target is boom, and then boom here. So for this one, I'm looking at 673 would be the next target, 625. So between $6 and $7 should be the next target for Sui, if it all plays out according to what we think it's going to do. All right, so let's look at where is Theta Fuel at. All right, last but certainly not least, let's take a look at this. And I'll spend more. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I'll spend more time later on. Guys, we're at the very beginning. So once we start getting these big moves, then my attention will shift, you know. But lately XRP's been giving us the big move, so that's where my attention needs to be. But yeah, Theta Fuel is a force to be reckoned with, because I really think this thing's gonna do something special. All right. So what we have here is obviously this W pattern playing out, right? Another thing is you got a 1 2 1 2, and then you got a 1 2, and this is gonna get back up here and then continue higher. So that would be sort of my main idea, to be honest. But it's all about getting through these retracement levels. Now, ADA did it, you know, Doge, you know, Algorand, right? Algorand did it, so I'm looking for it to happen soon. Another one is T-Drop, and I'll look at T-Drop another time. I mean, basically it's going to do well. So, it should do. We're right at the 50% level. So we need to get through 10 to 13 cents. Right? And then once we can do that, then we're looking at 20, 30 cents easily in the not too distant future. Right? Up to about 47. Now, if you look at Theta Fuel from the macro perspective, we need to get through 53 to 66 cents to really open up into price discovery. And where is price discovery? Well, that's anywhere between $1.20 up to $3. And it could be even more than that. Let's look at the log scale targets. You're looking at $5.56. So take out your calculators. How much Theta Fuel do you have? Let's say you got 50,000 Theta Fuel. Now multiply that by 556. That's probably maybe too much. I don't know, but I think that's a good potential. Now, if we don't hit that, it's okay, because I mean, look at this. If we hit that number, guys, that is literally, let's see, that is literally about 6,000%, guys. That's 6,000%. All right. XRP can't do 6,000%. I'm sorry, it just can't. I mean, maybe it could, but I just don't see it. But Theta Fuel can, right? So maybe I'm a fool, but I should rotate some of my profits into Theta Fuel, and I already have a little bit. So, but if we can't hit that $6, at least between $2 and $3 is the target for Theta Fuel. I think we could do that. All right, so there you go. That's everything. Man, I'm tired. I did a whole hour video and I did another hour video, so that's 2 hours just me yapping my mouth about crypto. It's been exhausting because there's a lot of other stuff that I'm doing as well, and you know, looking at the charts all day, barely got any sleep, you know, managing some trades. It's, you know, it takes a lot out of you. But anyways, let's take a look at the small time frame real quick. So we're sort of coming up, resetting, and what that does is it kind of allows for like these flats to take place. So you got 3 and then a flat. You got another 3 and then maybe another flat, something like that. I mean, that's what the trend is doing. So you kind of got this little area here. You know, you're flagging out a little bit. I want to see it hold support here, and then I want to see it bounce off. Right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So we don't want to go below 0809, and right now we're at 0867. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already, watched the first video I put out, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.